So here we are, the first full week of January. Statistically, this is the week where 75% of New Year's resolutions start to die. And it's not because people are lazy. It's not because we don't want it bad enough. It's because we're trying to fix a problem with the wrong tool, willpower. We're trying to use the wrong part of our brains to accomplish our goals, whether those are financial or fitness or anything else. Today we're going to talk about two different systems in our brains and how we can better set ourselves and our kids up to hit our goals in 2026 and beyond. Hello and welcome, I'm Dominic DeLaquil, and today we're going to talk about why habits, not willpower, are the path to true financial freedom for your family. Let's get started. To understand why we struggle with consistency, we're going to look at the Nobel Prize-winning research of Daniel Kahneman. In his research, he discovered that the brain has two modes, what he described in his book as thinking fast and slow. System 2 is executive function. It's slow, it's logical, it's deliberate. It's great at solving complex challenges or making complicated decisions that require focused attention and energy. It's inefficient at doing routine things quickly. And more than half the things that we do each day don't require focused, deliberate thought and choices. They're much better suited to automatic actions, much better turned over to habits. Enter what Kahneman termed System 1. It runs in the background and is extremely effective and efficient at doing repetitive, routine tasks. It doesn't require constant decisions, and it doesn't rely on willpower or motivation. It just does the things it does. It doesn't discern good versus bad, though, so bad habits or good habits, it treats them the same. That's where the executive function comes into play. That's the system our brains use to assess and establish good habits and catch and eliminate bad habits. The goal is to use our brain's executive function to deliberately choose habits that work for us and our families, speeding us on the path toward the goals in life that we want to be living, and then to teach and model those same things for our kids. So that all sounds great, but how do we do it? It's a great question, and the research on habit creation and modification, this time by Wendy Wood, it indicates that successful people aren't those with the strongest self-control or willpower that requires constant decisions on the same choices again and again and again. It's too much. We wear down because the executive function part of our brain simply isn't made for that. The people who have the greatest success meeting their goals are better at creating or modifying their habits. They're the people that are good, whether they realize it or not, at creating new habits, new good habits, and modifying or eliminating negative habits. One of the ways to do this is by managing friction in our environment, increasing the friction to make it more difficult to fall into bad habits and reducing friction to make it easier to create and stick with good habits. It's no longer all about self-control and relying on willpower to make the decisions consistent with our goals. We consciously set up our environment to make it as automatic as possible. So here are a couple of examples. If you buy a bunch of chips and chocolate and ice cream at the grocery store and place them in highly visible areas in your home, you have made a low-friction environment for behaviors that don't likely fit your goals related to health and fitness. And then you unconsciously develop habits of grabbing those snacks when you're opening the freezer or the pantry. But if you buy with deliberate intention and put lesser amounts of snacks that you have on hand in less visible, less convenient places, you've increased the friction for a generally negative habit. You can go one step further and put healthy items in more convenient locations. Or another example is if you want to work out in the mornings, you can get your stuff ready and set it out the night before so that it reduces friction to get going in the morning. And for your finances, you can make saving and investing easier by setting up automatic paycheck withdrawals into your 401k or IRA. Sure, it takes effort up front to set that up and determine the amounts, but then it happens automatically. Friction reduced to nearly zero. And if you find you resist sitting down once a week to review your expenses, then use an app to make it easier and teach your kids the same things. In fact, with your kids, the sooner you can start these things, you're establishing habits that they won't even realize. It just seems like that's how things are done. And in terms of friction, your kids are going to surely let you know if the friction is too high. Eye rolls and complaints and excuses to avoid even small friction, those things come quickly and easily to kids, as every parent knows all too well. So when you're trying to help them, you'll be guaranteed to find ways to make it easier for you. It benefits the entire family. There's more. You can also do things like habit stacks, where you piggyback an existing good habit with a new one that you're trying to create. It's a specific example of reducing friction as you create your new habit. Here's a personal example of mine. I have a habit of waking up slowly on Saturday mornings and enjoying my coffee and a Biscoff cookie or two. That's a habit that I really look forward to, and I don't want to change it, so it's very low friction. And when I was first creating the habit of reviewing my expenses each week, I stacked those two habits. So now I look forward to that slow Saturday morning with coffee, and it's easy to spend 15 minutes of that time checking my spending over the past week. It works great, and then it gives me the sense of control of my spending that was my intention from the first place. Thank you, Habit Stack. So how might you apply this to teaching your kids about money? Well, combine a weekly short lesson, and I mean like 15 minutes, about money with a fun activity that you already look forward to as a family. So, do you always get pizza on Saturdays? Maybe do your weekly money time right before. Or combine the family money time with playing a game that your kids love. And maybe it's not your favorite, but hey, parenting does require some sacrifices. You can play Candyland if it means planting money smart seeds for your kids. Or combine your personal weekly reward of good eating habits, let's say you have a dessert, combine that with a treat for your kids right after you finish Financial Fridays or Money Mondays or whatever routine works for you. So if you want to raise money smart kids and teach them the things that you wish you had learned growing up, your best chance of success is thinking in terms of creating routines and habits together. It'll help you stay on track as you help guide your kids. And it will also help you continue to learn, and you'll find yourself considering ways to optimize your investments as you go about teaching your kids the basics. But all of the financial know-how in the world won't help anyone that doesn't first have the basics down, and that applies to basic knowledge and the basic habits that lead to financial freedom. So for this week, start paying attention to your habits, good and bad, and looking for ways to adjust your environment to make it harder to stick with bad habits and easier to create or strengthen good ones. And make a plan to have a small amount of time each week as a family to do a short money lesson, and be sure to tie it to something fun that everyone can look forward to. Next week, we'll start going a bit deeper into the practical basics of managing your money on the path to financial freedom. And then from there, over the next 12 weeks, we'll also cover plenty of the nuts and bolts. We'll talk about the Rule of 72. We'll talk about compounding. We'll cover custodial Roth IRAs and 529s. And we'll also discuss all the nuts and bolts technical things in the context of habits and consistency in action, so that you can give your kids a financial head start that most adults never learn. Thanks for watching. Please like, follow, and share with other parents that want to raise money smart kids. See you soon.